Well, I thought it was going to work. I went to go calibrate the TPS and I took one step on the throttle and it seemed to work for a second and then it pulled the cable through. So I get to pull this all back out and then try it again. All right, so on the old rally car, I hate to say it, but I completely forgot about this, but this motor here is a DC stepper motor. The problem is that the Megasquirt cannot drive this on its own. There's no way, and I'm not smart enough electrically to be able to do all that. Now, what's happening is that the throttles, the inner throttles are slightly open, as you can see with a little bit of sunlight running through it. So what's happening is that because these inner throttles are slightly cracked, they're causing the high idle. That's one of the reasons anyways. It's obviously got one big vacuum leak here for this. And it potentially could be getting vacuum leaks from the injectors here, but we're gonna leave that alone for now. So before on the rally car, we actually had this wired up to a window switch that I harvested from another car. And it literally was like, you know, if you needed the car to idle, you held up the windows, or you pushed down on the windows. Oh no, you pull up on the window switch, and when you went wide open throttle, you would just push in on the window switch for the auto down function, and it would fully open these. And it was a really shitty thing to do, but it was a race car, so we really didn't care too much about it. This obviously, we're trying to make this a street car, so we've got to be able to figure out how to shut the throttle. Now, there is a coating that you can get for these throttle bodies, but it's really hard to obtain, and it's not something that we can get relatively quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just see if we can adjust the screws, some of these set screws here, to see if we can get the throttles to fully shut. Now, I've actually identified one of them, and I think it's for... Okay, so if you look at this pair of throttles, when I push down on it, you can see that this set screw moves. See that? And we can get this one to seal. So the theory is that if I screw down on this, it'll shut this. Now the problem is on the opposing side, there's this whole linkage mechanism here that I'm not sure of. And it looks like if I adjust this set screw down here, it is going to force the adjustments here. So we're gonna try that, and hopefully we don't roll or screw anything up. All right, so I made some pretty good headway on this actually. So I initially adjusted this screw, which closed this throttle. I played around with this set screw on the bottom here for the idle linkage, and it didn't make a difference. But playing around with this one here got this pair of throttles to start to close, and there was a slight gap here. So when I went back and I readjusted this screw, which I adjusted initially, I was able to get them all to shut, I think. So as you can see, there's no, as far as I can tell anyways, there doesn't seem to be any light passing through these throttles anymore. So this pair is slightly open still, and I mean slightly open. So we're gonna make a little bit more adjustment on this screw here, and I think that's going to be the ticket. So let me loosen this one up a little bit more and see if that nets us anything here. Okay, so as far as I can tell, these throttles are completely shut. So we're gonna go ahead and reinstall this on the car. I'm gonna hook up this vacuum hose. I'm gonna leave this vacuum hose off for now. And the reason why I'm gonna leave it off for now is because we do want a little bit of an air leak just to see if we can get it to idle. And then we'll plug up this vacuum line here, and then at that point it should remove the vacuum leak, and then we should be good. All right, I was able to grab these off the jungle site here. And so this is hopefully the fix for our throttle cable stuff here. So basically the way it works is you cut down your throttle cable and you slide the cable through this hole here, and then you can tighten down the set screw. So hopefully this will work out. So let me go test fit this in the throttle, and if everything goes good, we'll go ahead and we'll cut the cable off. All right, so after a few minutes, I had to drill out the little deal here a little bit just to get the cable to feed through. I just basically went 1 or 2 sizes over, but that looks like it's gonna work out swell. Just gotta tighten up the cable here, and then we can start mounting everything else back up. Okay, I was able to get it in. The only downside though is that the throttle doesn't fully return. That's not super uncommon though with ITB setup. We're basically going to have to find a spring to somehow latch into this mechanism here. So I'm gonna show you guys. This is fully shut, and I want you to take a look at basically this assembly over here. You can see where my dirty finger is at here. So we're gonna push down on it, and then when we let go, you'll see that it basically comes to a stop, but I can push it just a little bit more for it to fully seat. So I don't think that's going to be a huge problem, but it is something that's going to have to, we'll definitely have to take care of. But that stuff is done. We can fully mount the throttles now. So that's more or less done. We can tighten up these clamps now that are on the ITBs themselves. I don't think we have to take them off, and if we do, it won't be for quite a little bit of time, I think. So it should be just enough for us to get everything put back together, and then we can go ahead and get started on trying to get this thing to actually run like it's supposed to. Well, I thought it was going to work. I went to go calibrate the TPS, and I took one step on the throttle, and it seemed to work for a second, and then it pulled the cable through. So I get to pull this all back out and then try it again. All right, so after about an hour dicking with it, just because I didn't want to get a wrench, I'm sure you guys have been there, I'm going to leave it off, and we're going to test it again and see how hopefully it works this time and doesn't just pop off. All right, so it seems like it's working now. Doesn't seem like it's doing anything goofy, so let's see if we can go ahead and calibrate the TPS without having to put it all back together. So we're gonna go ahead and see. So let's figure that out. All right, so it's still idling high, but when I crack the throttle, or close it rather, I can actually get it to die. So that means that the throttle plate's not fully closed, like what we already know. Pipe. All right, so I pushed the throttle plates all the way closed. We've got like a 1200 RPM idle or so. I can probably, yeah, so I can basically push it in and get it to, I wonder if we got a vacuum leak. So they're all pulling in air ever so slightly, so it's definitely working there. We're gonna have to do something about this heater core hose though, because it's really tight. But yeah, all right, we got our sweet turbo spinning, we got the ITBs working, so we're good to go here. Just a lot of buttoning up that needs to be done. Okay, so we had some weird problems here. So there's a hard line that goes on the back side of the water pump down here, thermostat housing water pump deal, and it goes directly to the heater core over here. And so the hose just wasn't reaching, the hard line wasn't reaching correctly. And as you guys, I'm pretty sure if you've ever turboed a Miata, you know that the heater core hoses are always goofy on turbo manifolds. So we pulled it back out, and Jeremiah currently is re-welding it just so the outlet is going to face upwards. So we've got some test fitting to do over here.